Positive and friendly meeting at White House with Trump. Nine suspects detained in international drug crackdown. A very good evening and welcome. I'm Adrian Seedy watching the evening edition of News on 2. Now, police have seized more than 5 million ringgit worth of drugs, including liquid cocaine, in raids in Kelantan, Kedah and Kuala Lumpur. They also detained 9 suspects, 2 of them Nigerians, in the operations on September the 11th and September the 12th. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department NCID Director Commissioner Dato Sri Muhammad Mokhtar Muhammad Sharif said the drugs, except for the liquid cocaine, were imported from a neighbouring country and meant for the local market. He added that the 2 Nigerians detained were believed responsible for bringing the liquid cocaine from Brazil.
Kita merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, United States America, kerana memberi maklumat yang tepat kepada kita, sentiasa bertukar-tukar risikan, dan ini membolehkan Jabatan Siasat Jenayah Narkotik dan Sting mengambil tindakan dan banyak mencapai kejayaan demi kejayaan.
He was speaking at what would be his last press conference as NCID Director in Bukit Aman, Kuala Lumpur. He's set to take over as Bukit Aman Special Branch Department Director effective Friday, September the 15th. The Foreign Minister today confirmed that 10 Malaysians were involved in a fire in Clifton in Christchurch of New Zealand on Sunday 8:30 p.m. local time. 2 of the victims were rushed to the Christchurch hospital for further treatment and is reported to be in stable condition. Now, a statement by the Foreign Ministry stated that the Malaysian High Commission in Wellington is currently monitoring the situation. It added that the victims will be given the necessary help needed. The ministry also expressed its sympathy towards all the victims involved in the incident. The Bahau Magistrates Court today set October 13th for mention of a case involving a trailer driver who allegedly caused the death of 8 people in a road crash at kilometer 25 Bahau Karatong Road on June the 11th this year. Magistrate Muhammad Reza Ashar Rezal fixed the date after allowing the application by lawyer D. Anuratha, acting for the accused, to postpone the proceedings in order to study the documents from the prosecution. The accused, 44-year-old Nur Zailan Omar from Triang Pahang, arrived at the court at 9 a.m. Now, according to the charge, he had allegedly driven the trailer in a dangerous manner and without care for aspects such as the tyre, condition and size of the road and traffic, to the extent of causing the accident at 2:20 p.m. on that day, which killed the drivers and passengers of a Proton Exora car and a Perodua Myvi. The victims were 52-year-old Wan Muhammad Fauzi Wan Muhammad Ibrahim, 44-year-old Mas Nuraida M. Yusuf, 21-year-old Wan Muhammad Muhaimin Wan Muhammad Fauzi, 18-year-old Wan Nur Atira Wan Muhammad Fauzi, 13-year-old Wan Muhammad Ammar Haziq Wan Muhammad Fauzi, 7-year-old Wan Nur Alisha Wan Muhammad Fauzi, 31-year-old Osman Muhammad Taib, and 32-year-old Rosmina Othman. DPP Salwati Abdullah appeared for the prosecution. Now, the accused had on June the 15th pleaded not guilty to the charge read to him in the Jelebu Magistrates Court. A Parent-Teacher Association or PIBG board member was fined 350,000 ringgit by the Aikro Sessions Court after being convicted of running unlicensed money-lending activities in Cheng 4 years ago. Now, the sentence against the accused, Pang Siu Chan, age 48, was passed by Judge Nurma Ismail after the defendant filed to prove a reasonable doubt in the case. Judge Nurma also found that the prosecution had managed to establish a prima facie case against the accused. According to the charge, the accused was found to be lending money totaling 10,000 ringgit to Eng Yu Moy, 63, at a food stall in Jalan Cheng Baru on October of 2013, while the accused did not have a valid money-lending business license. The offence was committed under Section 5, Subsection 2 of the Money Lenders Act 1951, Subsection Act 400. Upon conviction, the accused could be fined up to 1 billion ringgit or face imprisonment for 5 years or both. Ifa Siru Shamsuddin led the prosecution, while the accused was also represented in the trial. A man who was charged with his wife for making fraudulent claims on the Goods and Services Tax GST last month was slapped with another 5 counts for the offence. Lu Penghua, 50, pleaded not guilty to the 5 charges, totaling 363,769 ringgit at the Ipoh Sessions Court in Perak today. Lu was alleged to have made false statements in the GST tax returns with the intention of obtaining a credit for tax input against tax output at the State Customs headquarters on separate occasions between December 2015 and April last year. Sessions Judge Murtazadi Amran set bail at 20,000 ringgit for each charge with 1 surety, and for the accused to report once every month at the nearest customs department. The accused was also ordered to surrender his passport to the court. Judge Murtazadi also set October the 12th for mention. A 28-year-old passenger was killed and a driver was injured when the car they were in crashed into a lorry in Puchong, Selangor early this morning. The lorry driver, however, escaped unhurt. 5 firefighters and rescue personnel from the Puchong Fire and Rescue Station arrived at the scene at Jalan Bandar 3, Pusat Bandar Puchong 7 minutes after receiving the call at 6:45 a.m. Now, the victim's body and the driver was sent to the Serdang Hospital for further action. Now, 2 Chinese nationals were killed and another was badly injured in a road accident at the Bintulu Tawau Road in Sarawak today that also took the life of the driver of the 4-wheel drive vehicle they were travelling in. Bintulu Police Chief ACP Zailani Amit said Zhao Shugang, 51, and Hao Ping, 44, died in the 7:40 a.m. accident between their Hilux vehicle and a trailer lorry along the road. He added that the injured passenger of the vehicle was Tang Dingping, 43, while the Malaysian driver who was also killed was Okong Zihua, 57. ACP Zailani said the 44-year-old driver of the trailer lorry was unhurt and had been detained to help in the investigation into the accident. He said the lorry was heading from Cebu to Bintulu and the Hilux was going on the other direction when the accident occurred. A landslide occurred in Bukit Bukong in Engkili, Sri Aman, Sarawak last night, cutting off 70% of the access road. Motorists from Bukong Engkelili heading towards Nangga Kumpang Lubo Antu heading both ways are advised to remain cautious given the vulnerability of the hill slopes which are prone to landslides. Heavy vehicles are also prohibited from using the affected road. Meanwhile, last night's heavy rain also caused the road leading towards Sekolah Kebangsaan Ijo and SK Basi di Engkelili to be inundated and cut off to all vehicles. The Sri Aman Civil Defence Forces Special Action Unit deployed boats to send 8 UPSR examination invigilators and 2 teachers to 2 schools from Pengkalan Engkelili and Jeti Stuga. US President Donald Trump welcomed Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak to the White House on Tuesday, praising Malaysia, amongst others, for investments in the United States and the Premier's tough stand on Daesh. Hani Muhili reports from Washington.
In his remarks before a bilateral meeting between the 2 parties, Trump personally told Datuk Sri Najib that he was honoured to have the Prime Minister and his delegates in a historic meeting marking the 2 countries' 60 years anniversary of bilateral ties. Trump described Malaysia as a vital trading and investment partner for the US.
Malaysia is a massive investor in the United States in the form of stocks and bonds and the stock exchange, and they have to be very happy because we're hitting new highs on almost a weekly basis. And so we're very proud of our stock market, what's happened since I became president. So I congratulate you on those investments.
Flanked by top advisors from both governments in the White House cabinet room, Datuk Sri Najib told Trump that Malaysia Airlines would buy 25 Boeing 737 jets and 8 787 Dreamliners and would probably add another 25 737s in the near future, a deal he said would be worth more than $10 billion within 5 years.
We want to help you in terms of strengthening the U.S. economy. I come with three specific proposals. Number one, we intend to increase the number of Boeing planes to be purchased by MAS. We are committed to 25 planes of the 737 MAX 10 plus 8 787 Dreamliners. And there is a strong probability, not possibility, probability that we will add 25 more 737 MAX 10 in the near future. So within 5 years, the deal will be worth beyond $10 billion.
Datuk Sri Najib also said that Malaysia's Employees Provident Fund (EPF) wanted to spend $3 billion to $4 billion on US infrastructure development. Meanwhile, Trump praised Datuk Sri Najib for his tough stand on Daesh in Southeast Asia and for cutting off economic ties with North Korea.
The key to it is to support moderate and progressive Muslim regimes and governments around the world, because that is the true face of Islam, that's the authentic face of Islam. The more you align with progressive and moderate regimes, the better it would be in terms of winning the hearts and minds of the Muslim world.
Datuk Sri Najib responded by telling the president that Malaysia was steadfast in the fight against extremism, reiterating his previous pledge to be staunch and dependable ally to the US in its campaign to eradicate Daesh.
The key to it is to support moderate and progressive Muslim regimes and governments around the world, because that is the true face of Islam, that's the authentic face of Islam. The more you align with progressive and moderate regimes, the better it would be in terms of winning the hearts and minds of the Muslim world.
Being a partner in the US-led global coalition to defeat Daesh, Malaysia had fought against violent extremism through the promotion of moderation and through its de-radicalization program. Datuk Sri Najib was warmly welcomed by Trump on arrival for their one-on-one meeting at the White House in what was the former's first visit to the official workplace and residence of the US president. The discussion with Trump was the highlight of the Prime Minister's three-day working visit to the US at the invitation of the 45th US president, who took office on January 20th this year. Now, the program at the White House included an expanded delegation meeting involving members and advisors of the Trump administration, as well as Malaysian ministers and senior government officials. Hania Muhili, Washington.
Hani Muhili, thank you for the report. Malaysia Airlines will restart on long-haul routes following the purchase of 8 Boeing 787-9 aircraft. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Peter Bellew said that the first of the ultra-long-haul 787-9 plane was expected to be delivered in 2 years' time. Bellew said that the airline was looking at 7 new long-haul routes, including Amsterdam, which the airline had stopped a couple of years ago. A memorandum of understanding for the purchase of the aircraft was signed between Malaysia Airlines and Boeing in Washington in the presence of Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak. Bellew signed on behalf of Malaysia Airlines, while Boeing was represented by its CEO, Kevin McAllister.
We signed for 8 Boeing 787-9 aircraft. It's just about the most modern and sophisticated plane you can get. Can fly enormous distances in great comfort. And we've done the deal. The deliveries actually are relatively soon. They'll start in May 2019, which is not very far away now. So it'll enable Malaysia Airlines to fly practically anywhere in the world we could possibly want to. The aircraft could go non-stop from Kuala Lumpur to San Francisco, to anywhere in Europe imaginable, even at a stretch could get to New York. So I think we're turning the page for the airline.
Bellew revealed that the 737 MAX 10 deal was worth some 28.56 billion ringgit, as it was a firm purchase of 25 of the planes and with an option to buy 25 more over the next 5 years. The MOU also includes Boeing's Global Fleet Care Service to maintain the national carrier's current and future Boeing airplanes, with the setting up of a world-class MRO on maintenance, repair and operations for the 737 MAX, 787 and 737NG based in Malaysia's existing facilities at KLIA. Bellew said its present Hangar 6 had been underutilized for the past 12 years.
We have underutilized facilities in Kuala Lumpur right now in Sepang. We have some fantastic hangars, and we're not doing any third-party business just right at the moment. So we're going to work with Boeing to develop a specialist facility to take on our own and third-party work on the Boeing 787 and the Boeing MAX aircraft. And I think Malaysia, and particularly Kuala Lumpur, is a fantastic location to do that. It should generate a significant number of jobs over the next 5 years and be very sustainable over the next 20 years and complement perfectly the fleet adjustment that we're doing.
Coming up next, emphasizing research quality for product commercialization. That story in a moment. You're watching News on 2. Thanks for staying with us. Before we continue with the stories in the business section, let's take a look at the latest weekly fuel price effective midnight. The commercialization of bio-based products not only requires a stringent research and development process, but a strong business matching network with venture capitalists. 7 bio-based or bio-nexus status companies have successfully commercialized a total of 11 local R&D bio-based products, mostly in the categories of health, wellness and cosmetics. The research quality in biotechnology by local universities and research institutions has increased significantly over the years. Bioeconomy Corporation Chief Executive Officer Dr. Muhammad Shuhaizam Muhammad Zain said the research now has higher commercial value compared to previous years, resulting in the 7 BioNexus status companies. BioNexus is a special status awarded to qualified biotechnology companies, allowing them to receive fiscal incentives, grants and other guarantees to assist growth.
Banyak dah produk-produk universiti yang terhasil, ya, and then dikomersialkan pada skala kecil dan sederhana. Right, the statistic that I'm giving you is basically on the new product. Macam hari ini punya event, new product. So, ada juga yang mana research yang dijalankan oleh di institusi awam, maksud saya private sector. This private sector, they don't actually come up for award, but they do have a new innovations, and this is not in the actual 7 that I actually mentioned earlier.
Dato Dr. Shuhaizam said this after presenting the Bioeconomy Innovation Awards 2017 to outstanding players from universities, research institutions and private companies at the Bio Malaysia and Asia Pacific Bioeconomy 2017 conference and exhibition, which concluded today. The 3-day event provided a platform for Malaysian bio-based companies, entrepreneurs, scientists and graduates to tap into the vast experience, knowledge and innovation within the ecosystem, while providing necessary support for the business development activities in bringing in investments to Malaysia. The Institute of Occupational Health and Safety expressed that the implementation of Occupational Health and Safety Concept, or KKP, namely in the tourism industry, will be strengthened in Malaysia to ensure that the safety levels in the tourism sector are maintained for both workers and tourists. Chairman of the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, Tan Sri Lee Lam Tai, said the tourism sector is an important contributor to the gross national income. He said those involved in the industry should be concerned about the safety and health in their respective areas.
Mereka juga ada tanggungjawab untuk memastikan para pelancong yang datang untuk melawat negara kita juga selamat dan sihat.
Tan Sri Lee explained that NIOSH is always ready to help the parties involved in providing training, advice and dissemination of information. He was speaking after officiating the Johor state-level seminar on KKP awareness in the tourism sector. Their spot in the semi-finals of the 2017 AFF U18 Youth Championship. Malaysia U18 on Tuesday confirmed their first place in Group A when they held Thailand. U18 won all in the final group match. Take a look. Bojan Hodak's Chargers went into the match at the Tuwana Stadium needing only a draw as they were leading the standings and did just enough to secure what was needed. After a slow start, Thailand enjoyed the best chance of the first half, moments before the break as Pirapat Kamintong found space on the edge of the area before his shot flew over the crossbar. Nick Akif Shahiran Nikmat gave the Young Tigers the lead in the 50th minute. The Thais kept their composure and equalized in the 63rd minute. Kitsara Kaman struck for the War Elephants to ensure both sides finished the group stage without a defeat. Both Malaysia and Thailand had won all 4 of their earlier group matches. The semi-final matches will be played this Friday. Malaysia and Thailand's respective opponents will be decided tomorrow when the last group matches of Group B will play. And that item concludes this evening's edition of News On 2. In our top story, positive and friendly meeting at the White House with US President Trump. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more updates. Thanks for watching. I'm Adrian Seat. Have a pleasant evening and good night.